idiots were protesting in downtown Chicago on Saturday about, oh, Elon Musk and Trump are so evil. Man, get out of here, you goofy-ass motherfuckers. Don't you got something better to do with your life? Damn, it's snowing. It's only 38 degrees out. That's insane compared to what the video is about. Trump crashed it on purpose because right now is
filing your taxes is easy.
Right now is a great time to buy stock, and you want to know why? Because you buy when the markets are low, and then when the market becomes more money. Right now, the only people who really lost money on the stock market crashing so bad are billionaires. Like 8% of the U.S. population are the people that lost money on the stock market. It's like 8% of the U.S. population that are they're trying to transfer the wealth from the rich to the poor. This is why Trump crashed the stock market on purpose. Here, I'll let this guy explain.
Trump is crashing the stock market by 20% this month, but he's doing it on purpose. And this is why Warren Buffett just said Trump is making the best economic moves he's seen in over 50 years. Now, here's the secret game he's playing, and it could make you rich.
And right now is the time to buy stocks, by the way, when they're low.
Now, that's just part of a TikTok that Donald Trump shared on his Truth Social account today. Now, while the economy is in a tailspin, people are worried about tariffs. Trump has shown that he has other priorities.
Tariffs to
before we
stop
get
being a
into
bunch
that,
of pussies.
Jen, do you think there's any truth to the video? That this is a big money-making opportunity?
Yeah.
Well, actually, half and half. So the Warren Buffett part is hilariously false. So we'll get to what Warren Buffett actually thinks in a second. But
that's some fake news shit.
For some rich folks, it is.
It's TYT.
We'll tell you the mixed bag right now. And by the way, did he actually crash it on purpose? And is that a good thing?
Yes, it is.
And it's a good thing because super rich people can make more money now?
No, it's a good thing because poor people
Is that
can
the
buy...
way you think it is?
No.
Well, let's find out.
So what is Trump focused on right now? Well, Trump jetted down to Florida yesterday in advance of the Saudi-backed Live Golf Tournament at Trump's Doral Club. So while the global economy is in a tailspin thanks to his disastrous tariffs, he'll be brushing elbows with Saudi leaders and golfers who took Saudi blood money to leave the PGA Tour. This, from Wednesday, has some details on his schedule. The president is scheduled to jet to Miami on Thursday afternoon to attend a Live Golf Tournament at his golf course in nearby Doral. He's scheduled to hang there.
Here we go. This one sounds more accurate. Trump shares claims on crashing stock market on purpose. I think he did. And this is ultimately going to give us Made in America again. And then that way, that'll make it so poor people can buy stocks. All I'm saying is negativity on this, not the truth. This one sounds maybe legitimate. Because right now is the time to buy stocks when they're low.
IRS e-file is now open. Snap your W-2 and file your taxes 100% free. Plus, get your biggest refund. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. File now.
Your journey won't be easy. But you must go. Because
nobody ever gets rich when the interest rates are high.
He's
because
right.
People can't borrow money.
Is that what you meant? The stock market going down was the disruption? What other disruption were you alluding to?
Look, you can't really watch the stock market. You have to do what's right.
What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So I don't usually do this, but 2 weeks ago, I issued a warning to stock market investors. And unfortunately, since that video, things have gotten a lot worse. Just today, the market has seen its worst drop since 2022. Panic usually creates more panic, selling pressure creates more selling pressure, and prices are falling purely because
Now's the time
prices
to
are
invest
home.
in the
So
stock
similar to my
market. This is
previous
when
video,
people get rich.
I'll put into perspective
There's that giant
exactly
fucking
what's
pothole they need to
happening, why
fix.
the market is crashing, how things could
Here's
get
this
worse
one.
before they get better, and what you could do about it. Help yourself
Look at that fucking giant
Yes,
hole.
I'm probably going to have to repeat myself a few times, but at least you should understand the truth about what's actually going on. As soon as you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done that
Yeah,
already,
it's the time to
that's all I
invest in
ask for. It
stocks
helps
is
the channel
now.
tremendously, and as a thank you for doing that, I will do my best to read and reply to as many comments as I can. So thanks so much, and also big thank you to Incogni for sponsoring this video, but more on that later. Alright, now, in terms of why the market's crashing, as of now, we have the perfect storm, starting with tariffs. Now, here's the thing when it comes to talking about tariffs. So far, here's how they've worked. Trump threatens tariffs by a certain date. The market goes down and eventually starts to recover. On the day tariffs go into effect, the market crashes because no one expected it to actually go through. But 24 to 48 hours later, an agreement is reached that gives an extension. The market goes back up. And then the process repeats itself when tariffs go back into effect, waiting for another agreement to be reached. This volatility starts to give the impression that tariffs have simply been used as a negotiation tool to get more favorable trade deals within the United States.
We've been getting raped by all the other countries for like 20, 30 years.
Until this, it's currently scheduled that a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports are set to take effect March 12th, while a 250% tariff on Canadian dairy products could be next, along with a tremendously high tariff on Canadian lumber shortly afterwards. On top of that, what's really fueling the tariffs is that he said tariffs may still go up as time goes by. Now, even though that 250% dairy tariff has largely been debunked as an item that's not even going to begin going into effect, since they will be allowed a certain amount of dairy to enter the United States tariff-free.
Fuck that, let's grow our own milk here in the U.S.
If they need to
Why are
order
we buying
inventory ahead
Canada's
of
milk?
or
Don't
if
we
they
have
start
cows
raising
here?
prices to cover overhead, to which Trump provided no additional information. To make matters worse, Canada retaliated by enacting 25% tariffs on electricity.
They're gonna lose.
imports from
Canada's
New York,
gonna lose in
Minnesota,
that
and
tariff
Michigan,
war.
starting right now. And
All it's
China
gonna do
slapped
is
back
hurt
with
Canada
15%
more than it's
tariffs
gonna
on
hurt
American
us.
farm products. As a result of this, investors are beginning to price in the likelihood of higher prices, lower GDP, recessionary fears, and the potential
There's
that
Trump
things
Tower.
could soon get much, much worse. But there's a second reason the market could be falling that most people have no idea about, and that would be Trump crashing the market on purpose. First of all, it's important to clarify that this is just a theory.
I think he
Nothing
did. It's
surprises
not a
me
theory.
now.
He
So
admitted
this is what
it.
we know.
He literally admitted it on his Twitter account, X, whatever the fuck it's called now. He literally made a post on his X account stating he's crashing the market on purpose. So it's not a theory. Why is this guy lying?
Fact. Right now, it's no surprise the government owes a lot
I
of
know
money.
why,
The
'cause he's
national
like
debt
18
is
years
currently
old.
sitting at over
He
$36
has no
trillion,
idea what the fuck's
and that
going
number is
on.
only expected to keep going higher, which is soon going to cause a lot of problems.
How the fuck
Why?
does he got
Well, when you have a
fucking
debt
5
this
million
large,
viewers,
you
this
have to pay
retard?
interest on the debt, and when
Let's see what
interest
he's
rates
got to
are
say,
at
though.
record lows, paying off the debt is very
I need
easy.
5 million
Like, imagine it
subscribers.
to be like a mortgage. Taking out $1 million loan at 0.5% interest is as simple as spending $5,000 a year to keep current on your monthly payments. But what happens when interest rates go up during a time that you're borrowing a lot more money and you've only locked in that record low interest rate for a few years? Exactly. Since interest rates have gone up significantly, the United States is now spending
Because of Joe
more
Biden.
money on interest payments than they are on defense for
Right,
the first
that's why
time
our
ever in
country's
history,
broke.
which is massive. And in 2025,
all these
there's
potholes.
another
We need to do a class
$9.2
action
trillion
lawsuit against the
worth of
city of
debt that needs to be
Chicago.
refinanced. This means they either need to lock in rates when everything is high, or they need to create a market crash, which causes interest rates to fall and gives them enough time to lock in interest rates for the next few years. Again, even though a lot of this is just a theory, some of it does make a lot of sense, because 70% of the $9.2 trillion debt needs to be refinanced by June 2025, and if nothing is done, that debt is scheduled to cost 1% more, which is reported to be $1.56 worth of cost for every $1 of revenue
Trump's
that the
doing
United
good
States
things for our
generates.
country.
Think about it. For Trump, this could
And
be
you're
a
going to
huge
see in
win
6
to
months to a
refinance the
year how
national
much
debt
better
at
off
a
and how
lower
much more
interest
things
rate
will be
than
made in
usual by
America thanks to
forcing
these
the Federal
tariffs.
Reserve to lower interest rates.
And
Like,
there's going to be a
case in
lot lot of rich people. The people that invest in the stock market right now, in 6 months to a year, you're going to have a lot of money. Watch.
I've been saying, let's get interest rates down. Nobody ever gets rich when the interest rates are high.
6 months to a year, and then you're going to make a shitload of money.
Interest rates are going down. You know what else is going down? Energy's going down. I'd love to see
gas
energy
went down
go
a little
down.
bit
Is that
too
what you
after
meant?
shooting
The
up.
stock market going down was the disruption. What other disruption were you alluding to?
Look, what I have to do is build a strong country.
Yes, he
You
does,
can't
and he
really
is.
watch
Not
the
a
stock
bunch of
market.
fucking
When you look
cupcake
at China,
pussy
they have
like
a
the
100-year
fucking Joe
perspective.
Bidens
We have
and
a
Obamas.
quarters. We go by quarters.
That's true.
You can't go by that. You
Mike-
have to do what's right.
What's
All of
his
this
name?
paints the picture that
Michael?
maybe this is his way of reducing the cost of the
Obama's
national debt.
wife.
Perhaps he could frame it in such a way
Quote,
that
wife.
he's making asset prices like stocks, real estate, and Bitcoin more affordable to middle-class
Right,
Americans
now's the
by
time to
giving
buy
them
it
a
for when
10
it
to
goes up.
30% discount. And if short-term pain is what's needed, then he's willing to get there by any means necessary.
gotta get some crypto
Although in
and
terms
some
of how
stocks.
bad things could potentially get, you're going to want to take a seat. Although
I don't
before
think
we
I
go
can
into
get-
that, just like it's
Okay,
really
it
important
might
to
go down
protect
a
your
little bit
investments,
more, but then
most
what if
people
tomorrow
have
it
no
shoots
idea
up?
that their most
Then you waited
important
too
asset
long.
can actually be their data. For instance, the number of recent data breaches is growing, having increased almost each and
Oh,
every
stop trying
year
to
for
give
the
me an
last
ad for
decade.
sales,
This means,
where-
like it or not, your personal data is probably already floating around on the internet somewhere in the hands of third parties, data brokers, and
I'm
anyone
not
else who might
getting.
want to target.
I'm
This
not
could include
getting that actually. I'm not getting paid by whatever this fucking app is. He's fucking trying to advertise. Still talking about it, man. Shut up.
there to help. They could do all the dirty work for you
Damn,
by
he's
reaching
still
out
going.
to data brokers on your behalf, requesting that they delete any personal information they have.
Shut up. What are you gonna do? Make a 10-minute video about your fucking ad? Well, if I got paid by an ad company, I guess I would do the same thing.
Every step of the way. They're also available.
Damn, he's still talking about this shit. I'm even fast forwarding it past this. It's like fucking an 8-minute fucking advertisement this dude's running. I guess if I had some big company paying me, I'd run an 8-minute advertisement too.
Different types
I'm
of
poor and I
deposits
live
that
in a
you're gonna
van
wanna
down
be
by
made
the
aware
river.
of. The first is what's
A
known
van
as
kinda
the
like
stock
that
market
van in front of
correction,
us. That's
which
kinda
is
like what
defined
my
as a
van
drop
looks
of
like
at least
down by the
10%.
river.
Now, it's important to recognize that normal volatility throughout the market is
Oh, what's
extremely
up? We got some
common.
comments.
Like,
I'll
since
read those in a
1920,
minute.
The S&P 500 has, on average, seen a 5% pullback 3 times a year, so random fluctuations happen all the time. This is also somewhat the case with market corrections, which have happened on average every 16 months. In fact, if you're like me and you like averages, so far the average stock market correction has been 15.6% and lasts for 71.6 days. So
Alright, Ted. Sorry. We'll read that in a
perfectly
second,
normal,
Ted.
and every healthy market sees a regular pullback from time to time. However, after that, we move on to the more serious category. And
With Robinhood Legend,
That Snow White movie tanked. I know that. They're woke
however,
as shit.
after that, we move on to the more serious
Let
category.
me see what Ted said. Ted said, the stock market crashing has never been a good sign in America. Yeah, it is, because now's the time. That's how people get rich, Ted. When people buy, after the market crash, people that don't currently own stocks, and when they buy the stocks then, and then the stocks go up, the stock market crashing has made a lot of rich people because they bought the stocks when it crashed. And then when the stocks went up, they bought that for pennies on the dollar, and now their stocks are worth thousands on the per stock. So you're wrong, Ted. The stock market crashed right before the Great Depression. We're not having a Great Depression. Quit listening to fake news, Ted. And he says, right before the Great Depression, both times the money stayed with the rich and poor suffered for consequence. Actually, a lot of the depression, after the depression was over, a lot of poor people became rich because they invested in the right stocks. So you're wrong. You should move to Canada. You'll be better off. Well, actually, are you Canadian, Big Sausage Canada? Big Sausage Canada, how do you feel about becoming America's 51st state? I love that idea, you guys becoming our 51st state. I hope Trump pulls it off. Right after we make Greenland our 51st, you guys could be our 52nd state, Canada. Canada, better watch out. We're coming to buy your country.
And that would be a bear market, which is defined of at least a 20%.
In Canada, Mr. Canada in the chat, you guys are going to lose horribly in these tariffs war because we give you a lot of your money and you've been tariffing us for the last 20 years now. Now Trump's going to say, you know what you do to us, we're going to do back to you, Canada. And Canada, you're going to lose badly in this war.
From the peak. And this is where the NASDAQ might soon be approaching. According to the data, this typically hits every 7 to 10 years. And when it hits, unfortunately, it hits kind of hard. During a bear market, the stock market drops on average 33.2%, and it falls over a period of 363 days. Now, it is important to clarify that these are just averages, and it doesn't mean the next bear market's going to fall exactly 33% and last for exactly a year.
He's not crashing into Great Depression standards. He's crashing it so poor people can buy it and the rich people
sell it. And then right after that, we saw the quickest recession in history, which lasted just 33 days. So anything can happen. Although, in terms of taking it even further from here, things can always get a lot worse. And that's what brings us to a stock market collapse. I would consider this to be a drop of at least 40% throughout the entire market, and not just in one sector like cryptocurrency. And over the last 120 years, this has only ever happened 3 times. This is why a market collapse is rather uncommon, but it's not impossible to happen throughout our lifetimes, which is something that everyone needs to keep in mind. But in terms of what you could do to use this as an opportunity to come out ahead profitable, here's my take on it. First, when it comes to building wealth, it's important to recognize that there's always going to be a reason not to invest. Like when I started buying real estate in 2011, the overall market had already fallen 50%.
Like you were 10 years old in 2011.
For 20 cents on the dollar. But I was told to wait because shadow inventory was about to be unleashed on the markets and prices were about to fall even further. But guess what? That shadow inventory never came, the market recovered, and I'm so glad I didn't listen to all the people who told me not to buy.
Even right now's the time to buy is when the market's crashing because you're going to get the stocks for so cheap.
About how the market could be poised for a crash.
When the market crashes, that's when rich people are made because the poor people buy those stocks then, and then when they go up, 6 months to 2 years down the line, they invested $5,000, they get a $30,000 return or more.
It should be pretty boring. I know that sounds weird to say because for me, investing is a total blast and I love it. But it's not a sign of a healthy market where people are trying to YOLO their life savings into whatever's the hottest stock of the day to try to get a brand new Cybertruck.
And by crashing, you have to remember, you don't have to do that because you'll be buying it for pennies on the dollar.
Taking a calculated risk or you're
not all good ones we buy for that, but a lot less than you would buy it for.
These last few years. Third, overconfidence is going to destroy the moment that you think you have the entire market all figured out. Because of that, it's really important to recognize that the less you know, the better you will do.
You look too young to even know what the fuck he's talking
about. Unnecessary risk for gains you never needed in the first place. For example, every single study shows that the best investors of all time simply buy into an people often make the best investors because they don't touch it. They just buy. And that is what chances are you probably need to do as well.
Right now would be a good time to do that.
The market drop is probably going to be a lot worse than you expect. Like, you know when you see a decline, so you buy in, and then it drops even further, so you buy in even more, and then it keeps falling until eventually you run out of money, and it keeps falling even more? Well, generally, market bottom takes place with absolute investor capitulation, where people think the economy is forever finished, no one is buying in, and people think to themselves that it'll just continue getting even worse. This was the case back in the worst of 2020, 2010, and I'm sure back in 2001, even though I was too young to remember that one. Every generation, I promise, is going to have their own moment when they think to themselves that this time is different, and even though it's always recovered in the past, this time, today, has never been like anything before, and we're probably all finished. That's why I tend to think that it's reasonable to expect that things can always get a lot worse than you them to, and just to be prepared.
But even if they do, you bought it at pretty low, even if you buy it today, and then when it goes back up, that's when you're going to be rich in about 6 months to 2 years.
Take on a side hustle, cut back on unnecessary spending, and invest the difference. Ideally, you should be doing that regardless of where the stock market trades. Yes, I understand understand it's not cool to live frugally and live below your means when everyone else is making 10x returns on meme coins, but I promise you, if you just stick with it long term, it's going to pay off 10 times more in the future.
But you gotta buy at the right time, which is now, or within the next couple weeks.
Out of nowhere, and so many investments lose value that I just tend to be overly cautious about what I do. Plus 6, it was found that in the event we hit a bear market, that half of the S&P 500's strongest days in the last 20 years occurred during a bear market, and another 34% of the market's best days took place in the first 2 months of a bull market before it was clear that a bull market had even begun. This is really important to mention because if you just miss the best days of the overall market, your returns drop substantially, and if you stay out of the market,
on the right day,
it's even possible to begin losing money. This is why, regardless of what happens to the stock market or how bad the sell-off gets, there's always a reason to say this time is different.
In my
the market
opinion,
might continue selling
within
off
the
much
next
more
2 to
than we
3
initially
weeks is the
expected,
best time to
or
buy
could
a stock.
rebound
We
the
got
next
more
day.
comments. We'll
I
read
have
those
no
here.
idea. That's why, as long as I'm not planning to use this money over the next 20 to 30 years, any short-term fluctuations make no difference whatsoever. It's just an opportunity
Name one
to
stock
buy in a
market
little cheaper.
rocket
And if you
like
appreciate this
your
message and me trying to get this
professional.
video out as soon
I
as
don't know about
possible,
stocks. I'm not a
please hit the like
professional
button and
stock
subscribe
market
if you haven't
person.
done that already. Again, that's all I ask for in return.
I'm saying
and I'll
common
do my
sense
best to
tells
read
you
and
the
reply
time
as
to
many
buy it
comments
is
as
when
I
the
can.
stocks are
Thanks so
low
much,
and it's
also,
crashing.
Again, big thank you to Incogni for sponsoring this video. Their link is down below in the description, and until next time.
I don't want no ad for you. Here's another good one.
Donald Trump deliberately trying to tank it. We saw the markets take a major tumble, another major tumble today. What exactly is driving this erosion of our economy, this destruction of our economy, really? And I would say it's three things. First, the Trump administration is doing nothing to reduce the cost of living, nothing to bring down the cost of food or
He's trying to
fuel
build a
or
Keystone
construction or
pipeline. He's trying
housing
to
or
get oil
anything.
rigged. He's trying
You'll
to make
remember
jobs
this
in
was supposed to
America
be
by
the number one
fucking us
priority of
making
the
our
Trump
own steel here
administration.
again.
During the
And
campaign,
getting
here he was on
Ukraine
the campaign trail talking about how he was going to bring down prices on his first day in office.
Grocery prices have skyrocketed. How can a family afford that? So
And
when
they
I
did
win,
under
I will
Joe
immediately
Biden.
bring prices down.
That's right. That was Donald Trump then, but this is Donald Trump now. Now that prices are going up.
Can you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow.
That's right. He has nothing to do with it, according to Donald Trump.
He didn't
what's
say
more,
that. He
you'll
said he
remember
can't
how he was
guarantee
always
anything,
talking
you
about
fucking
egg prices,
lying
and
ass
they're going to bring
bitch.
down egg prices. Well, egg prices have gone through the roof. Here's his message
Oh,
now
this is
about
from
egg
3
prices.
weeks ago. This
Shut
is
up
too
about
old.
egg prices.
This guy
That's
fucking,
right.
he's talking about shit from 3 weeks ago. I'm trying to talk about right now, yesterday, and the day prior. I'm trying to find something on yesterday, now, and the day prior. Oh, that was good. That where he was held up the graph. And fake news is trying to say his graph's not right. Yeah, it is. Fake news. Bloodbath in India. Good. Fuck India. We should be worried about our own country. Trying to find that more about where he's probably crashing the market on purpose. And I kind of do. Right here. Here we go. Fox News.
Markets are open, and you might want to turn away, or maybe not.
And don't get me wrong. Before I play this video, I'm not saying it's bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm not saying it's good. But this is mainly affecting people that have a lot of money and are rich and make their money off stocks. And that's how they got rich, was off stocks. The market crashing right now is mainly affecting those people, not the average person, like a person that lives in a van down by a river like me, or anyone else that's sleeping out on the street or in Section 8 housing or whatever. You know, those people don't have stocks, probably. It's not affecting them. But those people should be, those same people I just mentioned, the person living in the van down by the river, the people in Section 8 housing, the people living in tents. Right now's the time to take every penny you got and invest it in stocks that you know are going to go back up. Because in 6 months to about 2 years, that fucking maybe $50 you put in, if you put it in the right stock, will turn into fucking $30,000.
Days now, the news is tough out there now with the tariff announcement. Already in 5 minutes of trading, we're up about 2.5% for the Dow 30, so we're below 40,000 now for the first time in some time, say about a year. On the broader market, the S&P 500 trading lower about 2.5 percentage points. The NASDAQ is down even more at 3%.
I mean, those are big.
So in the past 30 minutes, the president, who is now in Florida at Doral for the LIVE event, he posted this. So the many investors coming to the United States and investing massive amounts of money, my policies will never change. This is a great time to get richer than ever before. Right. I will remind you that China announced its retaliatory tariffs around 5 a.m. Eastern time today to the tune of 35% for American products going.
And fuck China. China's had a high-ass tariff on us for the last, ever since Bill Clinton created that free trade agreement, which allowed things to be made in other countries and then tariffed as we buy them from China. But we can't, they won't sell our cars in other countries like China and shit. You know why? Because they're fucking us. That's why.
China. So that was the latest move. We'll see how it bounces back and forth throughout the day and into the weekend as we move forward. All right, this from last night, Air Force One. Roll it.
This is from 3 days ago.
What we have a set of tariffs based on what they've been charging us. It's reciprocal. And those tariffs have come in and every country's called us. That's the beauty of what we do. We put ourselves in the...
1 second, I was going to say something important. And so China's mad that we put a little bit more of a tariff back on them, but they've had a high-ass tariff on us since Bill Clinton created the free trade agreement. And if you don't know what the free trade agreement is, I already explained it, I think. Basically, it's fucking what Bill Clinton did, which was made things made in other countries get sold into America for fucking an extremely high tariff, and they won't even buy our shit without a tariff. So fuck that. And Trump's being generous. The tariffs Trump's putting back on all these other countries still are half the percentages of what they're tariffing us. If I was the president, I'd say, well, you know what? No, actually, the exact same tariff you're putting, Trump's being generous. If I was the president, I'd say, you know what? No, we're not even going to do a lower tariff than you. Anything you sell us, we're going to tariff it the exact same percentage you're tariffing us. That's what I would do if I was the president. I wouldn't even give him those. Trump's nice. He gave him lowball numbers. If I was the president, I'd say, okay, wait, you're tariffing us 82%. Actually, instead of tariffing you 40%, we're going to tariff you 82% also. Oh, this country, you're tariffing us 60%. Instead of Trump doing what he did, 25 to 30%. I'm just giving random examples, which are not exact numbers, but pretty well of an example number. So, oh, this country's tariffing us, like, let's say, they're tariffing us 30%, but we're only going to tariff them back 15%. If I was the president, I'd say, you know what? No, fuck that. We're tariffing you 30. It's going to be exactly what you're tariffing us. I would tariff every single country exactly what they're tariffing us. I wouldn't even lowball them like Trump did. Trump's being generous. I wouldn't even pulled that generous shit. I would have just straight up been like, your exact percentage you're tariffing us, we're going to tariff you back with that exact same percentage. But they don't even buy shit from us, so it really wouldn't even work like that. So I kind of understand why Trump did it. On the other hand, I kind of understand why he did it. He did it because they don't even buy shit from us. That's probably the only reason he didn't do 100%. Where'd that video go? That was a good one. Hang on, I got technical difficulties. It's freezing. Man, fucking load. Ah, there we go. This is the one we were watching. I think. I hope. Whoops. Sorry, technical difficulties. Come on, man. This shit works like garbage. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's badass, but at the same time, I wish it had a faster, better processor and faster 5G internet. This runs on like 3G.
I started to realize that I was losing hair. Something needed to change.
My grandma had a full head of hair the day she died. Undyed. I saw a picture.
34% retaliatory tariff it has imposed on U.S. imports.
Oh, man, come on, where's... Hang on, I gotta clear the memory.
Trump has asked China to back off immediately, giving it just a day.
Fuck off, Gandhi.
The new additional tariff would be levied against China from Tuesday, that would be a lot of tariffs on China. The U.S. first hit China with 10%. China was the first to be hit. It then doubled back to 20%.
We should have hit them with the same percentage, but they don't buy shit from us, so it would hurt us. I understand why he didn't do it as high. But if I was the president, here's what we were just watching. Right here, I found it. Picking up where we left off at. Like, subscribe, share, by the way. Hit thumbs up and check out Shivity Smolsky. He's got good shit on his channel.
That's the beauty of what we do. We put ourselves in the driver's seat.
President Trump somewhat downplaying the initial market reaction to his tariff plan. He's betting Americans will tolerate the short-term downturn if it means restoring manufacturing here in the U.S.
Yes, that's what we need. Manufacture shit in America again. I want cars 100% made in America again, like
on one of his campaign promises. She is our guest now. I'm sorry about that.
Bill Clinton's free trade agreement.
People are going to get to know you. You wrote a column that is getting a lot of attention. It said this: how did he steal the working class from the Democrats? Well, in the most obvious way, by purloining their pro-labor agenda. He has influenced the border and is now instituting widespread tariffs, implementing a broad protectionist agenda committed to reshoring manufacturing and giving the working class a boost, the likes of which we haven't seen since the New Deal. Tell me about your column and the reaction to it.
Do you know, it's so amazing. This morning on one of the liberal channels, I saw a Democrat congressman, and he was just sitting there saying, I have no idea why President Trump is doing this. They simply cannot understand why he is
trying to
implementing
make
the
America
tariffs,
great
because the answer
again, you
is
dumb
simple.
bitch.
He is choosing Main Street over Wall Street. He has chosen to bet on the American working class instead of on the rich elites. And this is astonishing because for 60 years, presidents on both sides of the aisle have sided with the rich over the hardest working Americans, the American working class. And, you know, I used to have the Trump derangement syndrome. You know, I started out as a lefty, a liberal. I really couldn't understand the draw people had to this president. But over time, I've come to see that he is simply the inheritor of the values that used to define the Democrats because they used to be the party of labor.
Was there a single moment that changed you?
So the cracks came a little at a time and then all at once. You know, the first was my rabbi, who's the best person I know, told me that he loved Trump. And I suddenly realized, well, I guess not every person who voted for him is a racist. Then I was doing a lot of reporting from the South on American polarization. And what I found was a lot more united Americans than divided us, even in this moment. It was really the elites who were polarized, but average Americans were very united. And then the kicker was in 2018, I saw a Yale study. And in this Yale study, it found that there was a difference between how white liberals and white conservatives talk to Black and Hispanic Americans. And here was the difference. White liberals dumb down their vocabulary when they're talking to Black or Hispanic people. And white conservatives don't do that. They use a lower level of vocabulary. It's called presenting lower competence. They use smaller words when they're talking to Blacks and Hispanics than they do when they're talking to white people. This is white liberals. But white conservatives don't do that. And I remember looking at this and thinking, and we, the liberals, call them the racists? This is the most racist thing I ever heard. And it was an indictment of the entire progressive worldview, which is based on this idea that minorities require the largesse and the beneficence of white progressives in order to thrive. And that was really a moment where I realized, wow, there's something really wrong with the left as it is. And came to see that it was President Trump who wanted to implement agenda items that would restore dignity to working class Americans. That's what this entire agenda is about. That's what these tariffs are about.
And so, do you think that others are coming around to this opinion?
Oh, there's Shivity. Now he's commenting. Yeah, I know. He's going to become, Canada's going to be our 51st state or 52nd after
and I actually
Greenland.
wanted to ask you, Dana,
hey, Canada, I agree with Shivity.
Why do you
how will
think
you,
that this
how will
idea
you feel becoming America's 51st or 52nd state? Don't worry, Canada. You'll love being an American.
Because we are living through a political realignment. And when
then
you go
guys
through
can
a
come visit
realignment,
the
it
Gulf
takes
of America without having
10
to
to
get a
15, 20
passport,
years for it to happen.
We'll
And
call
so,
your
to
country
me, I think it's just maybe a little bit of the natural order of things. And partly, I don't think it's that presidents didn't care about the working class. I do think a lot of it had to do with identity politics and the woke liberalism and also trying to take rights away from parents. and that has been a big issue. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Do you have 2 cents?
You need to write a piece for the Free Press. But you wear your MAGA lefty label now with pride. And thanks for sharing.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you guys so much.
Interesting perspective.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
First-time homebuyers, do not put in an offer before you check the Realtor.com Real View Maps. This tool is incredible. It basically tells you if the property that you're looking at has environmental risks associated with it. So things like floods, fires, wind, heat, air quality, things that I'd argue are kind of important to know about, and not only a risk for this year, but for the future as well. And I honestly don't know where I would be today without them.
Oh, that's a funny comment, Shivity. Yeah, I agree with you, Shivity. Keep handling these people. No, that's not what we're trying to find.
Senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich with more. Jackie.
Harris, the market briefly rebounded to positive territory after what the press secretary is calling a fake news CNBC report that claimed that the president was considering pausing all tariffs on all countries for 90 days with the exception of China. For a period of time, about a half hour, the press team in the White House, we were all trying to figure out if this was true or not, if it had been accurately reported, because that would have been a major reversal after the administration spent all morning doubling down on this policy. You heard the president say, and the White House echo, that he really believes that this has to be done because if nothing happens, the country will go bankrupt in 2 years. Now, we do know that was a fake news report, but just shows the market volatility this morning. Here's what Kevin Hassett said earlier.
How influential would the U.S. be if it were bankrupt? Well, let me tell you, if we had 4 more years of Joe Biden's behavior, Joe Biden's policies, we probably would have been very close to bankruptcy.
Yeah, we
and that's
would
why
have.
we're coming at it with everything we've got to fix the economy in the 4 years that President Trump has.
So the president's still committed to his strategy. He posted to Truth Social this morning. The United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a panickin, a new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. He also said on Air Force One last night, the tariffs will make the country money when all is said and done.
It's not a question of we will. We're going to put them on. And those tariffs next year will make us $1 trillion. In addition to the $1 trillion.
So, as you mentioned, Harris, the White House says that about 50 countries have called to try to make deals. The president said this morning that tough but fair parameters are being set. He spoke with the Japanese prime minister this morning, who volunteered to send a top delegation to Washington to negotiate. What we still don't know is how long it's going to take for the president to accept these deals and whether he might try to hold out long enough to also force Congress to maybe take some action on tax cuts and deregulation in the meantime. Harris.
Yeah, we know that those are the next steps in all of this. Jackie, thank you for getting us started. Brian Brinberg, co-host of The Big Money Show on Fox Business. All right, you were saying that was a big deal this morning.
Trump's talking with a president from another country. Here, listen to one of this.
File with confidence.
You didn't pay me. I'm running your commercial. Hey, if anyone that's from a big company wants to sponsor my channel, leave a comment on a non-live video, and I'll read your comment how I can contact you, and I'll be more than happy to run your advertisement.
Vulnerable, as I said,
as long as it has nothing to do with shithead Biden.
In goods alone.
RF Kennedy's we got like 3 Democrats that became Republicans thanks to Trump, including the Kennedy.
Right now. His tariffs will mean that we said this a $20 billion hit to New York. We said over 260,000 jobs at risk directly and many more indirectly. And our biggest industries are the ones at risk. Tourism is a big risk. Canada's one of our biggest tourist countries. Loads of Canadians.
Fuck Canada. That's why they need to become our 51st state.
Travel to U.S. What does that mean for New York? The hotels are less crowded, the restaurants are
I just
less
read your
crowded,
comment,
Broadway's
Ted.
less crowded, less money.
Have
in
you
people's
only
pockets.
seen, hold on.
When Canadians, Europeans, Asians no longer come here. The fashion and garment industry is facing price increases of 10 to 17%.
No, there was actually a lot of wealth transfer during one of those
so
times,
the bottom line
Ted.
is Donald Trump's
Big
tariff
sausage
strategy is
again
wreaking
from
havoc
Canada.
on New York.
No,
driving
Canada.
us into
I'll move
a
to Canada. Hey, big sausage,
So,
I'll move there when
once
you
again,
become our
I
51st
urge
state.
the president to back off.
I'm going to move
before
right
it's
across
too
the street
late.
from Detroit, right
The
where the
damage
Toys R
you've
Us
already
is.
done is huge, but stop now.
Hey,
or it's gonna
Ted, you
get
saying
even
look up
worse.
pictures of poverty
President Trump,
during the Great
find a way
Depression?
to
Is
put
that
the
all you
golf
know, or
clubs
is from
and pick
pictures,
up
or did you
the
actually
papers,
read
the
up on it?
financial papers. Take a real
How about
look
you
at
read
what's
up on
going
it instead
here,
of just looking at
because it's
pictures,
anything
Ted?
but great.
Big
It's
sausage.
anything but
We might
beautiful.
join Russia.
In fact, it's quite
I don't think Russia wants
quite
you guys. I hate to say it,
quite
but
gratuitous
you
to
ain't
nosedive
joining no
the
Russia
nation's economy.
because you're going to be our 51st state,
Questions on this
Canada.
subject? Yes.
Big dog vet. You're back, big dog vet. The market gets lows and highs. It's going up.
Okay, first, I had an amendment on the floor of the Senate last week.
Today, over 50 countries
that
have
said the
buckled to
tariffs,
Trump's.
if there's
Yeah,
any
yeah,
increase in the
big
price
dog
of
named
consumer
vet.
goods,
Yeah, I agree. He's talking the right
should be
thing. He
undone.
knows the truth. He
Unfortunately,
said,
no
big dog
Republican
non-vet said
voted
the
for it.
market
They're all
gets
afraid of
lows
Trump.
and.
Now, Maria
Hang on, let me
Cantwell has
pause
a
this fucking retard so I can read this out to you guys. Big Dog Namvet said the market gets lows and highs, is going up for a day today. Over 50 countries have buckled to Trump during the COVID. The markets were way lower, media said. Squat. We will be fine. I agree. I wish I could put a little heart on your thing. Big dog Namvet. You know what you're talking about. You're a smart guy. I like you, man. Hey, we should do an interview one day about Vietnam and you. Are you in the Chicagoland area? Here, let me let this idiot keep talking while I read these
Grassley, that I'm a
comments.
co-sponsor of, which says any
Shivity,
future
you still
tariffs
watching?
have to be approved by Congress.
And the details of that amendment are in the press release page passed
Well,
out.
let me just finish. And so, first, I had an amendment that would have rescinded the previous tariffs if any prices
The
went
poor
up.
barely have
But no
any money
Republican voted
invested
for
in
it. They're all
stocks,
afraid of
Ted.
Trump. Hopefully they'll
Ted said
change their
again.
minds as they see how bad this is. Senator Cantwell, along with Senator Grassley, has a bipartisan bill that would say no future tariffs can go into effect without Congress. I support that bill, but we
I
have
don't.
to undo
I bet
the
you do,
existing
Chuck.
tariffs as well.
Fuck you, Chuck Schumer. Why? Because it's hurting your pocket? These are the type of people like Chuck Schumer that the fucking tariffs are hurting. These are the people Trump's trying to take care of. These jagoffs like Chuck Schumer, who's lining his pockets and fucking, instead of Americans like me and you, people that live in vans down by the river getting their pockets lined.
Pretty soon,
The largest amount of people are being affected. No, you're wrong. The middle class, the rich is being affected the most, Ted.
Afternoon here on and live down from Fox. We'll take a 2-minute break. We'll be back with much
His
more
300 feet free trade agreement that he signed built our economy, supports the laws that we still lean on. Are you talking? Hey, Ted Kegel, are you his 300 trade agreements that he signed built our economy, supports that? Are you talking about? I really hope you're not talking about Bill Clinton's free trade agreement, because Bill Clinton's free trade agreement, Ted, is the entire reason everything is made in fucking China now. Now, Muhammad said, men just break the signal, whatever. William Truck said, tariffs are going to hurt all Americans. Yeah, but it's going to hurt the rich the most. So that way us poor people could get into the stocks. Thank you, Shivity. Stan G said, nice to be the product of all of our education cuts. Dude, I was hit by a semi-truck. I got a head injury. What the fuck you trying to say by that? Why don't you clarify what you're trying to say by your comment there? Oh, you did in your next comment, Stan G. Boomer brain rot. Actually, no, June. I'm assuming you. Hey, I got a serious question for you, Stan G. Did you vote for Kamala Harris? I mean, did you vote for Joe Biden? Serious question. Can you tell me, did you vote for Joe Biden? I'm asking that because knowing if you voted for Joe Biden will tell me what your head's like. Sean said, ha 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 ha, ga 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 ga. Okay, whatever that means. Sean said, Fox rotted. No, actually, fake news rotted. Thank you, Shivity. Any more comments? Oh, we got a couple more. Wonderful! Shivity, I'm glad you're here. Maybe you can customize since it... Oh my god, this bitch. Just a little... I think you're a little delusional, Wonderful. Wonderful, tell my aunt to unblock me, because she blocked me because of you. I know who you are. You're that government employee that tried using your fucking, you tried using your government position to threaten a civilian for free speech. I know who you are. I can't wait till Elon Musk fires you, Wonderful, if you're that person I'm thinking you are. Actually, yeah, I'm a slow reader because I got hit by a semi-truck at 110 miles per hour head on. Let's see how quick of a reader you are after something like that.
Day, and it has just been a
right now is a good day to buy stocks. Even if they do go down some more, you'll still come out ahead in 6 months to a year.
Trading hours opened at about 1,100 points in the red, went down as much as 1,700 points before rocking and fueling.
And did you ever hear the saying, you gotta destroy something to rebuild it better? That's what Trump's doing with the stock market. He's destroying it to build it back better. Unlike fucking Joe Biden's fucking build back better. All I saw was fucking a bunch of migrants coming here fucking us Americans over.
News, and then you saw the market really whiplash. And now we're seeing this back and forth here, going from about 1,000 points in the red to now about 400 points. So a little bit of give and take right there, as really investors trying to take the news in as it comes in, really by the hour. And we'll be continuing to monitor that for you here on Live Now from Fox. Also keeping an eye on lawmakers that will be discussing tariffs and the economy. We are expecting some House Democrats to be speaking in just
hold on today, 37 Monday.
We'll bring that to you, and
the first
we're still waiting on the Oval Office remarks of President Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on the economy, on tariffs, and then of course on the Gaza war that has been continuing to be fighting on with the Marine that is right outside of the Oval Office. That means that President Trump is still inside of that Oval Office.
President Trump, yeah.
Get some tape playback. We will bring that to you in full right here on.
Hold on, let me play something back here.
I was contacted by a local realtor who wanted to make an offer on the property, and I told him it wasn't for sale. And he told me, well, it's for sale on a real estate website. About a week later, the deed had been registered on this property. My parents' supposed signatures were on the deed. Totally.
Alright, like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. Thanks for watching, y'all. We'll be back in a little bit, though. Did I read everybody's comment? Oh, Anonymous 13. It went dark. He must have hit another one. What? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I hate potholes. They're horrible. This fucking mirror won't fix them. I was avoiding potholes, jackass. I'm talking to Ted. Interesting chat today. Yeah, it was. Wonderful with her psychotic ass. Tell my aunt to unblock me. She blocked me because she's afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you, Wonderful. Wonderful, I think you need to go get educated on Trump. Hey, I'm assuming Wonderful doesn't like Project 2025. In fact, I think it's a very good solution, even though I don't think that's a real agenda. But honestly, when I was reading up on Project 25, it sounds like something that's actually a pretty smart idea. Wonderful. Talking shit. Ted, wonderful. No, I was avoiding potholes. There's potholes everywhere. No, the potholes didn't.
Anonymous. All right. Well, like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. We'll be back.